Welcome to ComSpark. Today we're in Cincinnati, Ohio. My name's Kyle Livingston, and I will be your guest host today. I'd like to welcome our guest, Nelson Vincent, Vice President of Technology and Chief Information Officer at the University of Cincinnati. Okay, thank you, Nelson, for joining us. It's our pleasure to have you. Go ahead and start with the questions we have for you today. What has been the most satisfying accomplishment in your career?
Well, I never really expected to be so heavily involved in technology in a university in my careers. Like so many people today, I feel like I've had multiple careers, but 30 years worth of careers has taken place at the University of Cincinnati. This is the beginning of my 8 years as the Vice President for Technology and Chief Information Officer, and I'm just kind of excited that I've been able to keep up. You know, I came from a very different background. My doctoral work and my work at UC was predominantly in the College of Education, working with schools, working with STEM education. And so for me, it's been a complete transformation, a re-education. Fortunately, in those 30 years, I always got to work with technology and the innovation of technology with teaching and learning and students in K-12 schools. But it's a big step up to do that for one college at UC and to do it for the whole organization. And in so many things, I thank mentors and professionals and colleagues who have really been part of my mentoring and education as I've learned how to do this on the job. Which is, most of us will have this fate as we change jobs 5 to 7 times in our careers.
Excellent. Yeah, I think the use of careers is very appropriate in that fashion.
We'll see if there are more careers to come.
Yep. Well, with technology moving as fast as it does, and you know, what are the challenges that you're most concerned with at the university in the IT field?
Well, you may not know, but UC is a major research university. So it's an R1 research extensive university, one of about 135 such universities in the country. And what those universities, including UC, are experiencing is the impact of compliance, which leads you to the conversation generally about cyber and cybersecurity and information security. And so we have the work to do of keeping up with a vast increasing roadmap of compliance requirements, whether it's NIST or ITAR, all of these things that we have to deal with in the field, as well as the investments that it takes to keep all of that going. So you'll find if you look at a large test group of universities and look at their data on their expenditures, one of the fastest growing groups of expenditures in all research universities is compliance and the technology it takes to keep up with compliance. Mostly focused in the area of processes, controls, and cyber and information security. So it's not just our credit cards and our ATM cards, it's the place that we work, the place that we teach 47,000 students and interact with the whole community in Cincinnati. We have to walk the talk. Everything we do has to be compliant, and everything that we do has to be secure and safe. And that's a big challenge, and it's keeping everyone in the field hopping. It's not a one-fix contract, it's not a one-fix product, it is a roadmap, a huge and extensive roadmap that just keeps growing.
Indeed, I would say with digital transformation moving as fast and quickly as it does, it's hard to imagine any of us could have seen the process that is required now 20 years ago with that expansion. How is your company embracing transformation with digital strategy?
It's interesting you're asking that question in the year of the University of Cincinnati's bicentennial. So the way the university has kicked off that celebration of 200 years in Greater Cincinnati is the opening of the Digital Futures building called the 1819 Innovation Hub. And that's all about innovation, all about technology. If you go to the facility, it has everything you need to innovate, to work with technology, whether you're a K-12 student or a major person in the startup community in Cincinnati. It is designed to support innovation and partnerships, and it's the first of many buildings that are investments that are planned for the uptown neighborhood just off Martin Luther King and Reading, and it's exciting to be able to meet there and to guide people to the incredible opportunities to innovate and work together on new and unimagined things. For example, design simulations impact on research and product development and processes. I could go on.
As the chief leader at the University of Cincinnati, as far as information technology is concerned, How do you work with leadership from other functional areas within the university to collaborate and move business and projects forward?
It's really a partnership and a collaboration. You cannot do anything in isolation. IT is not an isolated field. It has to be a deeply partnered field. So, for example, I would routinely meet with the Vice President for Research. We are involved in cancer research. We're involved in nursing. We're involved in engineering. I could go on and on and on. All of these fields have needs in terms of support from technology, security, innovation, large networks to move huge amounts of data around the world. And so all of those things need to be planned, anticipated, and worked on together. Same with student learning. Student learning is becoming increasingly online and digital. Those things just don't arrive and they're not plug and play. They require a great deal of custom work, security work, and you're delivering content and curriculum all around the country with students on co-op all around the world at any time in the year. So I would say that forces really tight partnerships. We have to translate for each other, avoid the technical terms, and really look forward to what's it going to take to kick off the effort in the project, sustain it over time, and how do we sustain the cost of those costs in terms of resources, technology, infrastructure, and move forward predictively, because it's not going to be what we thought it was in the start. We're always planning, we're always in project mode, and that makes it exciting and energizing. And we have to be very planful because we're asking people to invest. And so when you invest in research and learning, the same rules apply. We're looking for the payback. We're looking for how it contributes to student learning, how it contributes to research, and how it makes the University of Cincinnati an attractive place for business partnerships, new faculty hires, and students who want to come and do their work at the University of Cincinnati as new types of digital learners, innovators, people who have been doing startup work from their first day in college, and grow the agenda forward for this region in Ohio to be a huge part of Ohio's knowledge economy.
Excellent. Yeah, as a leader in the higher education institution, it sounds like Cincinnati is on the forefront in these areas.
Well, the fun part too, if I can use the word fun, is it is amazing what's happening out there so quickly. For example, the fabrication of artificial limbs using 3D printers to model what the final product will be.
That's fascinating.
$5,000 printer, plastic and tools, piloting forensic information and studies, medical tools, medical things like arms and legs and elbows, piloted cheaply before they go to production for individuals.
That's fascinating. So Nelson, can you tell me a little bit more about what the students are doing with some of the technological advances within the university?
That's a pretty wide area, but there are a couple of recent things that really are captivating. For the year leading up to our bicentennial, we've been working on a design project, which is a 3D model of the university as it was 200 years ago. The classrooms, you can enter the classrooms, you can be a student in those digital classrooms. We also did that for Albert Sabin's laboratory, the polio vaccine. And also some classrooms from 150 years ago were featured. And the energy that students put into that, they work for some of the IT staff, but predominantly student energy built these environments. You put on your headsets, your Oculus Rift, and off you go. You're in a different time zone. It allows you to model things. It allows you to understand the world in very different ways. Other students have been doing 3D modeling and 3D printers to develop models of artificial limbs and solutions for injuries to limbs that we couldn't imagine even a year or two ago. And this allows us to imagine what it takes to resolve the medical problem, the injury to the limb, as well as gives the patient options to function in the interim. For example, we had a demonstration of a young woman who was able to bat a baseball using her artificial arm while she waited for medicine to catch up with the solution that was going to be the resolution of her injury. I think that's an amazing thing for students to experience. It's an amazing thing for a university to be involved, and it's certainly an invaluable experience for the person who has the injury and the need for medical solutions that are cost effective, time effective, and things that can be done reasonably now without waiting 5 years or 10 years. And to know that students were leading this effort from engineering and design, art, architecture, and planning with faculty and staff is amazing. Students, before they're graduating, before they finish their degrees, are able to do this work or imagine solutions using technologies that we wouldn't even begin to imagine if those students hadn't been with us. And that combination environment that sponsored innovation, true partnership, and collaboration. And this is happening all over the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky region.
What an incredible intersection of technology, engineering, and the medical field.
Yeah. And these are our future workers. They go out on co-op experiences, and they're going to be the people who are in business finding solutions for us as we age and need these solutions.
Hey Nelson, really appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the program.
My pleasure to join ComSpark again.
Thank you. I would like to thank Nelson Vincent for joining us today, and for those listening to the interview. To learn more, go to comspark.tech.